Wake up. Wake up. We're doing it live. Ah, we're doing it live. All right, let's see. Are we live? All right, we sound like we're live. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the live stream where we do it live. What are we doing this week? Well, we're going to be checking the box office. We're going to be checking movies. You know, it strikes me as funny that I was in the comic book industry, and that seems to be going down the tubes since I left. And I'm in the movie industry, and now I'm going in the books more, and maybe that's going down the tubes since I've left. Clint Miller's here. Hello, good people. Tony. Hello, Clint. Clint Miller. Holly M is here. Hello, Holly. Welcome. Welcome to the live stream. As always, we'll do a little brief pre-game warm-up where I tell you about my week. What did I do this week? This week, I went to United Methodist Communities at the Shore. JEC is here. Hi, hi, hi. And it was awesome. It was probably one of the nicest old folks home I've ever been in. It was so nice. And they had their own bistro, and that's where I did my talk on the Jersey Devil. They brought in the guy who runs the liquor store. Now, Ocean City's a dry town. It's a dry town. You're not supposed to get booze there. You can't buy booze in Ocean City. But he delivers booze to order to the old people there. And so he came in with samples of wine. And now, since I was doing my talk on the Jersey Devil, he came in with samples with Valenzano wine, because Valenzano makes Jersey Devil port wine. And so they have Jersey Devils on the labels and stuff. It's pretty cool. So they had wine. And then they also had catering. So they had shrimp and cheese and little crackers and stuff. I was a fancy Jersey Devil talk, let me tell you. And they were very excited. And they bought some books and seemed to be into it. And then today I was at Nerd Fest. That was fun. Nerd Fest. That was in Swedesboro, New Jersey. That was a pretty good day. I sold some books there. And there was a costume contest, the usual stuff at a comic book convention. There were cosplayers, and that's about it. Dangerous Dan was there. Dangerous Dan does like a martial arts demonstration, I guess you would call it. I don't want to throw shade at Dangerous Dan. I mean, he's called Dangerous Dan, but I think the strongest thing he does is a scream. So we were joking around at the table saying, yeah, I know when Bruce Lee started, the first thing he did was he spent 2 months perfecting his scream. Clint Miller, eating fancy chow and drinking fancy wine. That's right, Clint Miller. That's right. So it was very fancy at the old folks home. So if you ever have to go to an old folks home, I highly recommend United Methodist Communities at the Shore. Plus you're at the shore. I mean, in Jersey, you want to be at the shore. Maybe not in the winter, but in the wintertime you stay inside. That's all. They bring everything to you. They'll bring you wine. So, but then in the summer, out you go to the beach. It sounds like a win-win. Sounds like a win-win. I got to keep it in mind. I'm not getting any younger. And most of the places I've been to are surprisingly nice. I didn't think they'd be that nice. Some of them are surprisingly nice. Anyhow, what else is going on? That's about it for me. This week I'm doing Tyndall Road Brewing on Wednesday. That's a brewery in Bordentown. Bordentown is where Napoleon III, brother of Napoleon, moved in the early 1800s. And they say he shot a cannonball through the chest of the Jersey Devil. So that story is in book 7 of the Pineys. So I've been doing my Pineys pitch all day. I'm very fresh on all my Pineys material. But we're not here to talk about Pineys today. Today we're here to talk about movies, of course, and the dying movie industry that we all know and love. So let's see if the box office is any better today. Boom. All right. The end of February? No, it's not looking much better. So, the number one movie in America this weekend is, once again, Bob Marley, One Love. One Love. 13.5 million, a drop of 53% in its second week. That's not too bad. Clint Miller, not Pineys. Oh, I'll answer any Piney question you want, Clint. Any Piney question you got, you just let me know. So Bob Marley, One Love, 110 million worldwide. Meh. This probably didn't cost a lot of money. No budget on this. But that's not great. I mean, 110 million worldwide. And it did better in America than overseas. I mean, this is the danger of doing a biopic for someone like that. I'm wondering how people in Jamaica reacted to it, because I'm told by a reliable source it's going to be particularly glowing of Bob, and it's a very complicated issue down there in terms of what the deal is. A lot of people are in gangs because they kind of have to be. It's not a super above board situation in Jamaica, I'll say. Not that I'm throwing any shade at any of the people from or live there, but it's kind of a rough neighborhood, if you get my drift. And they're kind of glossing over that. So saith my friend. Number 2, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba to Hashira something. $11.5 million. That's pretty good for an anime. I mean, to the Hashira training. I have no idea. That doesn't make any sense. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba to the Hashira training. What does that mean? It's just nonsense words. I mean, just call it Demon Slayer. That's what I would do. Just say Demon Slayer. That sounds cool. The rest of it, 20 million worldwide. Doesn't seem like a lot for an animated movie, but it is from Japan, so I gotta assume the Japanese already made their money on this. JC, Demon Slayer's anime. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seems that way. I gotta assume in Japan it's like it did well. However that works in Japan. I know there's a lot of stuff that bleeds from movies and TV. So there's probably a comic book too. But this is probably a secondary market for them. You know, just throwing it in for the anime fans. What do we do in Mexico? 4.5 million. That's not bad. For Mexico? I mean, that's worth mailing a copy to Mexico, I guess. I assumed it was dubbed. So, dubbed in Spanish, Korean, French, and English. Or subtitled. I would guess dubbed. Number 3 is the first new movie, Ordinary Angels. This one stars, I know, Hilary Swank and Alan Ritchson. A guy from Reacher is in it. And 6.5 million. Now this is based on a true story. It's about a woman who, I don't know, she ran into some trouble, and I think she was an alcoholic or something, and she got clean, and then she wanted to do good works. So there was a guy, and he's played by Alan Ritchson, who has a daughter who's very sick, and he's trying to make the money for her medical bills, and he can't raise enough. So Hilary Swank's character inserts herself into his situation and says, well, I'll use my marketing skills to get you money. And then she basically goes to the pharmaceutical companies and medical people and says, give her free medical care or I'll tell everybody you won't. Essentially, kind of blackmailing them, really, but she basically pitches it as a PR win for them. And then because of that, they eventually capitulate and then give the little girl free medical care and save her life. And then I think she falls in love with Alan Richardson and ends up marrying him. I assume they're both the right age. So, and then happily ever after. So it sounds like a nice movie, at least. Not for me. That to me is a movie I'd see on TV like months later. I'd be like, I guess I'll watch this. Or I'd just watch the end of it to just see how happy everybody is. Ooh, they're all happy. That's good. That's nice. And then I'd be like, good. I'm glad I didn't watch the whole thing. I'm a lot happier that I didn't waste 2 hours of my life. I just watched the last 10 minutes to get the, get the good part. I didn't want all the drama. I just want to cut to the chase and know, oh, the little girl lived. Hooray! So, I don't know. I think it'll be good. Alan Richardson's pretty good. Seems to do well in Reacher. He's also doing, I don't know if you remember this show. It was called Blue Mountain State. It was this crazy comedy show about a football team. I think they were at a college. I saw one episode. It was pretty good. I didn't realize it was Alan Richardson, and I didn't really recognize him because I think he was very young when they did that show, and now he's older and his face changed a little bit. But that show has sort of a cult following, and they did, I think, 2 or 3 seasons, and then they managed to do a Kickstarter to raise the money to do a movie based on his character, and the Blue Mountain State characters. So they did a movie through Kickstarter, and then now that Richardson is on the rise, they're going back and they're doing a sequel series to Blue Mountain State. I forget what it's called, and he's going to be in it. I guess he's going to be, I think he's out of college, and then he's going to be like the coach of the football team, maybe something like that. But he's still crazy and wacky. I mean, it's cool that he's doing a comedy. They don't do enough comedies in my view. All right, and number 4, dropping from number 2, never got to number 1, Madam Web. Yes, I know. Hold your vomit, everybody. $6 million though. Still, people are still seeing it. But that's not a lot of money because it dropped 61%, which is kind of a lot. Now, that's not the biggest drop, but that's pretty big. I mean, that's more than half the audience going, oh, don't go see this stinker. Plus, even though it made $6 million, it's in over 4,000 theaters. And, per theater, it's only about just shy of $1,500. That's not a lot. When you look at the other theaters, you look at the Demon Slayer thing, they're packing them in. It made more money, but they're averaging almost $6,000 a theater. And they've got half as many theaters. So, think on that. Think on that. Imagine if they jammed Demon Slayer in 4,000 theaters. They might get a lot of crossover business. People just going, well, if it's in the theater, maybe it's good. Some people do that. They go to the movies, they don't know what they're going to see. I mean, maybe they have an idea, or maybe they're not too married to the one they decided to go see, and then they see something else and go, why don't we go see that crazy thing? What is that? I've done that. So I think they're kind of missing out if this thing, I'm not a huge anime guy, but once in a while, certainly got to be better than Madam Web. Like if I was dying to see a movie and my choices were Madam Web and Demon Slayer, oh my God, I'd jump right into Demon Slayer. Yeah, let me try that. It's got to be better than Madam Web. It's got to be better than a lot of the movies on this list, quite frankly. But yeah, this stinker, what's it going to drop to next week is the big question. $61 million. It hasn't even made back its budget of $80 million. And at the rate it's dropping, so what are we at? We're at $6 million. That was a 61% drop. Next week, I mean, it'll probably be less than 3 million. And I don't know what you're going to get internationally. Internationally, you're going to get, according to this, less than that. So maybe, so you get 3 million, let's say less than that, say 2.5 million, maybe 2 million. So maybe get 4.5 million next week. Maybe round that up to like 5 or 6. I mean, this thing isn't even going to make its budget, and that doesn't count all the advertising. And did they give this international? They did. They didn't send it to China yet, though. Oh, they are in March. Now, I wonder if the Chinese will go see this thing. I wonder how they feel about it. I mean, I think if they had put these girls in, they were half as naked as they were at the premiere, I think everybody would have gone and see the damn thing. I just watched a trailer for a movie called Escape, and the whole plot of the movie, and you could watch my trailer analysis, it's hot girls going on vacation, they get kidnapped, there's a bunch of other hot girls that got kidnapped, and now they're trying to escape the sex traffickers. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't believe the stunt work either, but they're hot. I mean, each one's hotter than the next. Who don't want to see that? Who don't want to see hot girls, escaping and winning at the end? I want to see that. That's what Charlie's Angels should have been. Hot girls running around, and they're all in bikinis. Every one of them's in a bikini top or some kind of scantily clad outfit, barely dressed. We have to escape. Boing, boing, boing. We have to escape. I don't know what we're going to do. And then, they escape. I've got to run. Boing, 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 boing. I mean, that's what Madam Web could have been. Oh, no. We've got to get out of here. The rhino's here. Boing, 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 boing. I mean, the movie writes itself when you have that kind of assets. But they didn't. Sydney Sweeney's in the damn movie. A total smoke show. And they dress her like, I don't know, a school marm. It's like, what are you doing? You got a smoking hot chick and you dress her down like she's going to church. It's a movie. And she's not in that crazy spider outfit. I think she's in it for like one flashback scene or something. Should have been a whole damn movie. Let me put on this skin-tight Spider-Woman outfit and fight crime. You could have had a 10-minute sequence of her putting that on. People would have watched. It was all guys seeing a damn movie anyway. Ugh. Guys and dads, I think. I think it was dads and 12-year-olds were the biggest demographic to go see Madam Web. So, I mean, you just know what it was. It was like, 12-year-old boys going, oh, wow, they're hot. Let's go see that, Dad. And the father going, I don't know. What is this stupid movie? Oh, yeah. All right, yeah, I'll go take a see that. What the hell? And then sitting there going, oh, my God. What the hell did you make me come see this thing for? I'm sorry, Dad. I thought they'd be more naked. Hell, let that be a lesson to your son. If it's not rated R, it's not worth your time. Modern movies don't have enough boobies. In my day, there were boobies. Boobies everywhere. As far as the eye could see, boobies in an R-rated film. Now it's a sad day for boobies. All right, number 5, Migration. This movie's, this hanging around. $3 million. This is that Crazy Duck movie. Did pretty well. It's been in its 10th week. Still in the top 5 here. Okay. It's like a desert. It's like a movie desert here. And you got Migration as your top 5 movie in 10-week-old movie. Come on. Nothing's coming out. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. There's tons of stuff coming out. It's not getting here. I saw a bunch of trailers this week, and they weren't all great, but a few of them were pretty decent. better than these kinds of movies. Like, just throw them on the screen. Who cares? You know how many theaters, you know how many screens my theaters have? My theaters, I think at minimum, they have 16 screens. 16. I can't find 16 movies I'd put on those screens. No. No. A movie like Madam Web, right off the screen. I don't even know why they ran it. You're keeping this in there? What the hell for? Nobody's seeing it. Show anything else. I guess they're trying to... I guess they already paid for it, but geez. Dropping down from 3 to 6. Argyle, 2.8 million. Another stinker. I thought this would be good. I was rooting for Sam Rockwell. I mean, it cracked 85 million, but it cost 200 million to make. So that ain't no good. That ain't no good at all. I mean, it's lost more money than Madam Web. And I think there's at least something to watch in that. But Traxxas the Seventh. Welcome from the Outer Rim, Traxxas the Seventh, and I welcome you and your alien overlords. Traxxas says, "Let's go home and watch Game of Thrones, son. It's the tittiest." That's pretty much true. Although there is nudity in Game of Thrones, it's a tit fest. It's a tit fest. Yes. There's some quality boob on Game of Thrones, but nudity as well. So you have to watch out for that. That's something for everyone. You could look at it that way. But yeah, I mean, there's so much better boob on the internet. Quite frankly, there's boobs everywhere on the internet. It's practically one giant boob. But the movies, who do you got to kill to get a boob on the screen anymore? I mean, it's ridiculous. R-rated movies, no boobs. No boobs. No boobs to speak of. And to not put boobs in Madam Web, even Dakota Johnson looks way better in the premiere than she does in the movie. How did that happen? So let me get this straight. You spent $80 million to make a movie just to make a beautiful woman look like a schlub. Why? Why would you do that? I mean, if you're going to make a vapid, stupid movie with hot chicks in it, put them in interesting outfits at least. I mean, as much as I hate Charlie's Angels, directed by Elizabeth Banks, like a total abortion of a movie. I mean, one of the scenes in that movie is, oh, let's go and pick out an outfit. But even in that movie, they didn't really put them in hot outfits. I mean, they were hotter than the ones in Madam Web, but, it's like there's no one straight working in Hollywood anymore. Traxxas, this is my main viewing account. You might have also seen me around as Aurelius Mosh. Oh, Aurelius. Hello. I don't know how to do two different accounts and whatnot. I didn't know you could do that. So that's cool. Good to see you. So yeah, just, if you're going to spend all this money for hot chicks, just tell them in advance, listen, we hired you because you're hot. You're a smoke show. Oh, but I want to act. You'll get it. You'll get some lines. But you're going to have to wear a lot of skimpy costumes. And we'd like you to be topless in one scene. I don't know about that. I'll talk to my agent. Well, you talk to him. I've got 700 other beautiful women to interview. So, get back to us. Holly M. Yes, I do it with I Heart Horror one account, and this is my personal. Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, this is what people want to see. Boobies. If there's not going to be a plot, look, this is a hard and fast rule of movies. The 3 biggest selling kinds of movies you can make are the following, because they transfer into all languages, in all cultures. Everybody likes these movies. Number 1, horror movie. Everybody gets scared. Monsters are scarier in any language. If there's a monster and it's a horror movie, people like it, and you could show it all over the world. Number 2, action. Same reason. Action is the same no matter where you show it. Dudes getting shot in the face or punching each other translates all over the world. And number 3 is TNA. That's beautiful women doing, it doesn't really matter. Beautiful women, usually topless at some point, running around looking hot. Or any combination of those 3. So if you're an international distributor and you make movies and you distribute movies, those are the 3 movies they want. They don't want comedy because comedy doesn't translate into other languages well. So the comedies they make in America don't necessarily work in Japan or England even or anywhere else. People have different cultures. They have different senses of humor. It's the same thing with dramas. It depends on the drama. Sometimes you can get close enough that it doesn't matter. But there's always some, we got to look at the movie. You don't have to look at a horror movie, an action movie, or a TNA movie. Those 3, they'll be fine. They'll always sell. And that's why they make so many of them, when they want to make money. The movies with messages in them, woke messaging, they don't sell at all. They don't sell here, they don't sell overseas. Nobody cares. They're ruining this business. Number 7, Wonka. I mean, you might as well just build a permanent theater at your local theater for Wonka movie. I don't think it's ever going to leave. It's in its 11th week. It's number 7. 2.5 million. God, it's still in 2,200 theaters. Man, February is dead. 610 million worldwide. Yes, it made tons of money, and expect a sequel, unfortunately. Number 8, and this movie premiered this week, Drive Away Dolls. 2.4 million. Not a very strong opening. This movie looked okay. Oh, it had international distribution. This is more of an action comedy. Oh, Australia. I could see the Australians liking it. Oh, this is a weird grouping of countries here. Australia, Netherlands, Poland, Israel, Denmark, New Zealand, and Georgia. Weird. A lot of Slavic countries in the mix here. But, this looked okay. It's about 2 girls involved in some kind of wacky heist. Traxxas, the 7th. All cultures enjoy movies with beautiful women, one way or the other. They don't need to be raunchy or explicitly sexual. Kate Beckinsale in Underworld comes to mind. Yes, good point. And she's an international star because she's English. And so that movie plays very well in England. And she's hot. So yeah. Drive Away Dolls looks okay-ish. I mean, I think it's about 2, if I'm remembering correctly, the 2 girls rent a car and they get the wrong car, and I think there's a body in it or money or both, I forget. And then the bad guys are out to get them. So it doesn't sound awful, but 2.4 million. What was the budget on this thing? Let's see. I don't think we have a budget. No. Probably didn't have a big budget. Probably could have been under 10 million. I mean, but that still wouldn't be enough. I don't know, 2.4 million. Maybe if it has legs and they put it in more theaters, but that seems pretty low. That's a pretty wide distribution for Focus Features for something that's essentially an art house movie, but I mean, I'd put this ahead of Madam Web. Get that the hell out of here. Argyle, it's done. Kill it. Next up, The Beekeeper. I kind of wanted to see this. I may watch it on Amazon. 1.9 million. Going out of theaters in its 7th week. This you're going to kick out of theaters. Made 123 million. It's doing better than the other movies. I mean, it's a standard Jason Statham kills everybody movie. But I like it when Jason Statham kills people. It's comforting to me. Ah, Jason Statham's killing everybody. Ah, it's a good day. Uh, and he always kills people in a cool way, right? He's like the Punisher. He doesn't do it the same way twice. He's always like tying guys to, I don't know, blimps or something, and then the blimp flies him into a wood chip or something like crazy like that. Number 10, dropping from number 5. Wow. The Chosen, season 4, episodes 4 to 6, 1.8 million. Now this, I would bet money this TV show doesn't cost 10 cents to make. Just because they never spend any kind of big money on these shows. But you could see by the drop off, that's kind of a big drop off from last week. Like whoever was going to see it saw it. And it's like done already. But still, I mean, it made 7.8 million for what it probably cost less than $1 million for all 3 of these episodes. So, and what is this? It's only the second week though, so it's done, but it made money. It's a good strategy. I think they're going to do more of that. Number 11, dropping from 8. Anyone But You. This is finally over in its 10th week. Again, now this movie is cheap as F. 25 million, and it's made almost $200 million. $200 million, John. Do you have any idea how many treats I could buy you with $200 million? That would be a lot of treats, doggy. And I'd get you a haircut a lot sooner instead of the shaggy mess you are now. And plus, I'd get you doggy perfume so you didn't stink. Phew. But again, this one looked pretty decent for a rom-com. Number 10, or dropping to number 12 from 10 is Land of the Bad in its second week. This is a Russell Crowe movie. It's basically, a drone pilot movie. And then Liam Hemsworth's in it. 3.5 million. That is not money. I gotta think this movie cost a little bit. I mean, there's explosions. And I got 2 named guys in it. I gotta think this cost around 10 to 20 million at least. But that ain't money. Perfect Days in its 16th week? What the hell is this? Oh, I think I saw this movie poster before. I mean, 9.6 million? Seemed to do well internationally. I'm not sure why you're keeping this in theaters. But it's only in 34 theaters, so whatever. Maybe it's Oscar bait. Maybe it's getting an Oscar nod. Probably did. Number, I guess this is 14, Lisa Frankenstein, dropping from 9. This movie didn't look awful. Looked better than, it's written by Diablo Cody. It looks better than Jennifer's Body, because at least there's some 80s music in it. But, and I like the title, but it just feels like yet another feminist Frankenstein flick. And we already had Poor Things. Why would you even release this the same year as Poor Things? It seems stupid. Seems like you should have put this on hold. Maybe saved it for October when everybody forgot about Poor Things. October, I think this would have done decently. People just would have went to see it because, it's a different kind of monster-related movie. But it only made $600,000. It's dropping like a stone. It's going out of theaters. And this movie, Mean Girls, still in theaters, $450,000. Unfortunately, it cracked $100 million, and unfortunately, that is money. Ugh. Hope they don't make a sequel to that. Night Swim. Here's your horror movie. It only made $51 million, but there's no way this cost a lot of money. It's about a haunted pool. Les Miserables? Les Miserables? The Miserables. the musical, back in theaters for some reason. I mean, okay, sure. You could always throw this up and people go see it, I assume, but is there a reason it's happening this month? Is it because, wait a minute, is it Bastille Day? Is Bastille Day in February? Maybe it is. Maybe that's why. Arden is here. Hello. Sorry I'm tardy and fabulous. Welcome. Welcome, Ardent. Yeah, I think Bastille Day is in February, isn't it? No, maybe it's in July? Am I confusing that with 4th of July? Somebody check me on that. Premiering is a movie called Stop Motion from IFC. Not sure what this is. $330,000. That doesn't seem good. Oh, here's a synopsis. Ella Blake is a stop-motion animator who is struggling to control her demons after the loss of her overbearing mother. Suddenly alone in the world, she embarks upon the creation of a macabre new puppet film, which soon becomes the battleground for her sanity. As Ella's mind starts to fracture, the characters in her animated film take on a terrifying life of their own, and the unleashed power of her imagination threatens to destroy her. Weird. I think I did look at this trailer, but I didn't understand it, so I passed. Holly, Bastille Day, Sunday, July 14th, 2024. Oh, okay. So why would they release Les Miserables now? I guess it's just a slow month. I mean, it's not a bad strategy. Anything's better than Madam Web, but just seems like a weird choice this time of year. The Taste of Things. That's the film about the French chefs. $325,000. It's not really making any money. Zone of Interest. I mean, this movie has got all kinds of Oscar knobs, but nobody's seeing it. Nobody's seeing this. $12 million? Come on. The commander of Auschwitz, Rudolf Haas, and his wife Hedwig strive to build a dream life for their family in a house and garden next to the camp. I mean, that sounds awful. Ardent, Victor Hugo's anniversary? Oh, maybe. Maybe. Speaking of Hugo, the Hugo Awards, Google that if you have any interest in science fiction. Oh my God, there's some sort of crazy scandal going on with the Hugo Awards, and it just keeps getting worse and worse every other day. Every time I look, there's another new scandal. And it seems like JC, sounds like a real bummer, LOL. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, but they nominated it for Oscars. Oh, it's depressing and sad. Oh, how many Oscars do you want? Let's see. I mean, why don't you just give Jerry Lewis the Oscar for The Day the Clown Cried? I mean, he didn't release it, but I'm sure you would have tripped all over yourselves to give him an Oscar for it, even though it was kind of an insane project. Let's see. The main character has cancer and is been shot into space and is going to hit the sun, and his mother hates him, and his children have all died. Like, what? Stop depressing people. Why don't you make a happy movie once in a while, Hollywood? Make something fun. Nothing's fun anymore. It's all BS. Origin from Neon. This is the Ava DuVernay movie. It's in 127 theaters. There must be something. Speaking of sad theaters. Trolls Band Together. JC, The Day the Clown Cried will be shown in screening as soon, I think I read. Yeah, they're talking about it. It's been this like urban legend, I mean, it's not an urban legend, but it was this sort of weird legend for years in Hollywood because people knew about it. And then Jerry had a copy, and then the story goes, I want to say it was Christopher Guest or someone like that. Maybe it was Harry Shearer or someone like that. They got a copy of the movie. Like, Jerry went away for a week, like on vacation, and somebody he knew borrowed a copy of it to screen it for their friends, and they watched it and then put it back. so there was all this like scuttlebutt about it for a while. This is like years ago, years and years and years ago. I got to think at least 20 plus years. And then there was this whole like underground, like, oh my God, there's this crazy movie that Jerry Lewis produced, but he was still alive when that happened. Ardent, and his dog has leukemia. Oh God. JC, Harry Shearer talked about saying, okay, yeah, it was Harry Shearer then. Yeah. Yeah, he or like a friend of his, I think, worked for Jerry and got a hold of a copy, but like they could only watch it and put it back. Like that was the deal. And and they thought it was the most fascinating thing they had ever seen. And it was just so, because for those of you who don't know what it's about a clown that is at the camps during the Great War with the bad guys from Germany, and he has to keep the kids occupied until they go to that, you know, the bad place where they sent people, I'll say. Yeah. It's that sad and crazy. JC, there's behind the scenes footage of Jerry working on it. You get a sense of what it was. I mean, and then I think at some point while Jerry was still alive, the deal was he told people like they could release it after he's dead. Like he gave him permission or something like that. And which is kind of interesting to me, the idea that, you know, while you're alive, you're thinking about, oh, I'm going to release something after I'm dead, so I'm not there to hear any criticism of it, right? So it's kind of funny. And it's just interesting that they're going to release it, because it's going to be everywhere. I gotta think it's just going to be everywhere, and people will be talking about it for weeks. At least. So, I don't know if I want to see it or not. I guess I would. I guess I'll see it. I watched the, oh God, what the hell was it called? Orson Welles shot a movie before he died, but he never quite finished it. He had like most of the footage, but hadn't quite finished it, and then a team got it and then like edited what they could, kind of thing, based on his notes. Oh God, I forget what it was called, something like Inherit the Wind or something like that. JC, Lewis had donated a copy of the film to the Library of Congress under the stipulation it not be screened before June 2024. Oh, okay. Huh. So we donated it to Congress. Interesting. Well, he would have had to copyright it, do that, I would think. How does Jerry Lewis get to tell the Library of Congress what to do? That's weird. Behind the Wind or something. Yeah, I think it was Inherit the Wind or not Behind the Wind. Forget. Something with the wind. And I watched it, and it's a very interesting movie. It had some interesting... You could kind of see the beginnings of it, because he had this, like... It takes place, like, in the early 70s, so there's, like, these aspects of it that are about how the media manipulate things. But it's 1972, so the media at that time is, like, guys filming stuff and a little bit of videotape, but and people with tape recorders holding microphones. So Holly M, The Other Side of the Wind. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's it. But it had some interesting themes in it and a lot of subtext. So, but you could clearly see it was unfinished because a guy like him worked kind of like Kubrick. He'd shoot like hours and hours of footage, and then he'd like cut it down and put it together, and then decide, I don't like this. Let's shoot something else, and then he'd edit that in, and then winnow it down some more, and it was like a constant process with guys like him. Which I'm not knocking. It's just like it's very arduous and long that way. Not my way of doing things. JC, there's a documentary about the making of the Orson Welles movie, probably better than the actual movie. Yeah, it's not great. It's just interesting to watch because when you know the history and then you're seeing it, you're kind of like, for me, I was trying to figure out what he was trying to do, like, where this was going, but like it doesn't quite get there kind of thing. I have some thoughts on it, but you'd have to see the movie to really understand what I was talking about. Ardent, Proto Wag the Dog. Traxxas the Seventh. Did you ever see Simone with Al Pacino? What did you think about it? I don't think I've seen Simone. What year did that come out? Simone. Let me see. It's not coming out. Simone Al Pacino. Nothing's coming up. It's Simone? Oh, here it is. Oh, it's spelled weird. Oh, it's like a virtual girl kind of thing. 2002. A producer's film is endangered when his star walks off, so he decides to digitally create an actress to substitute for the star, becoming an overnight sensation that everyone thinks is a real person. Oh, interesting. Well, I haven't seen that, but I will tell you about a movie that I constantly talk about, even though it's not the greatest movie in the world, but it's pretty good, and it was pretty prophetic. Ardent says, I wonder how long Kubrick's Lord of the Rings might have been. Probably about 72 hours. Probably about as long as it took to fight the wars in Lord of the Rings. Ardent, you mentioned Russell Crowe as I was coming in. Stormy and I watched the Pope's Exorcist yesterday. Hella good. I thought the trailer looked cool. Really? I'll have to check that out then. It's got to be on streaming somewhere. But anyhow, there's this movie. Ardent, she's a horror fan and she loved it. There's this movie that you absolutely have to see if you are into the whole AI thing. And it's called Looker with Albert Finney. I think it's 1985. And it kind of predicts everything. Although, 1981. There it is. So the premise of the movie is it takes place in the future. It's a story by Michael Crichton. And Ardent, absolutely worth watching. All right. So, in the future, they have computers to, what they do is they look at the images and they monitor the models and the actresses and actors as they move. And what they figured out was the problem was, even if you got the most beautiful, perfect actress and gave her all the perfect makeup and everything, the moment she started moving, her score would go down. Ardent, Crichton was amazing. Yes. So her score would go down, and they couldn't keep, no matter what they did, they couldn't keep the score at like above 90, let's say. So what they eventually developed was, this is in the 80s, a computer model that you could take the model when she was perfect, scan her into the computer naked, and then put her out and make her move and do whatever you wanted, just like AI now. And so the plot of the movie is they've done this with a bunch of actresses, but they don't want to pay them anymore, so they kill them. So, and Susan Day's in it, and she's naked as well, and she looks great. That's a good Susan Day naked movie. See, we used to have boobies. So that's the plot of the movie, and then the technology also allowed them to develop this weird gun, which if I shoot you in the face with the gun, it shoots a beam of light, and you are you just completely tune out. You're like in a catatonic state, and you'll stay that way until it wears off, and then when you do, it'll feel like you jumped ahead 2 hours. So that's part of the movie too, where the guys have this gun and they just zap people, and then they like ransack their apartments or kill them or whatever. And so there's a fight scene with Albert Finney, who's not in the best of shape, gets a hold of the gun, and he zaps the bad guy, and the guy's just frozen, and then Albert Finney's able to escape and turn the whole thing on its head. Clint Miller, one Crichton story which Hollywoke will never make is a movie called State of Fear. Really? Tell us what it's about, Clint. But this movie was really good, and it really portends the AI world, because the only thing the movie got wrong was the sets had to be built. So the AI generated computer models would be projected onto a set, and then the set would be moved around, the cameras would move, but in order to move stuff, you had to have the robots move them secretly. But it's a cool movie. So yeah, definitely check out Looker. We got off track there. Where the hell were we? Trolls Band Together. This friggin' movie's still in theaters. 208 million. It made money, unfortunately. Clint Miller, global warming is a hoax. That's the story. I don't know how much I can say about that on YouTube right now. Let's just say that my character in the Pineys, Hemingway, would agree. Ardent, William Gibson had a lot of prescient about the future tech. Johnny Mnemonic is a film made from his work. I remember that movie. Keanu Reeves, where he's smuggling data in his head. And yeah, I wish the movie was better. The movie's not great, unfortunately, but I think that really started Keanu on that path of like cyberpunky kind of looks to him, because he's always, that was before Neo, I think, and so he's always sort of been in that mix. Even John Wick has a bit of a cyberpunky look to it, and then he was in the cyberpunk game, probably because of that. Yeah, Gibson's good. I like him. The Iron Claw, which didn't do as well as I thought, but did make money, still in theaters, $43,000. Wish shouldn't be in theaters, a complete waste of celluloid in my view, $39,000. Ardent, truth be told, the short story wasn't great either. The Holdovers, $35,000. This is Oscar bait. It's in more theaters, so they're going to put it back into theaters because the Oscars are coming up. Oppenheimer, speaking of the Oscars, they desperately want this to crack $1 billion. I think they're at 960 million. 40 more million to go. Another movie they'll keep in the theaters until it cracks $1 billion, I guess. All of Us Strangers still in theaters. This is the gay romance story. So the BAFTA awards were last week, I think, and Ardent. But hey, anything that gets us Henry Rollins as a doctor, yeah, Henry Rollins. I like Henry Rollins and things. I liked him in. He had a great role in Sons of Anarchy. Oh man, I think he played one of the skinhead lieutenants, and he totally pulled it off. But he's not much. He did a movie. What was it called? God, I can't think of it now. The hell was that movie called? Let me look him up. Henry Rollins. Oh, he was in Feast? I didn't know he was in Feast. Huh. Somebody mentioned that movie today. Oh, Johnny Mnemonic, okay. He Never Died. He's good in that. He's the lead in that. He's basically Kane, and Kane never died. But he's sort of like a vampire, I think, because that was sort of the implication. I think he had to eat human flesh or something, but he just can't die, and he just wants to be left alone. He's kind of a miserable person, but it was a perfect role for Henry Rollins. Oh man, he nails it. Ardent Oppenheimer, I was on Prime now. Ardent, He Never Died. Yep, that's it. It could have even been a TV show, really. I think it would have been dumb as a TV show, but so anyhow, All of Us Strangers stars the guy who he was in Sherlock. He played Moriarty, and I forget the actor's name, but he's at the BAFTA Awards. He was also in Saltburn with Barry. I think his last name is like Keoghan or something like that. And apparently in Saltburn, I didn't know this, but there's some scene where Barry is naked and hangs down so you can see his junk. And they asked him a question on the equivalent of the red carpet. I mean, BAFTA is the UK Oscars. And they asked him about the guy's unit, and I don't know, he just sort of laughed it off. He didn't think it was a good question. And it was some sort of controversy, like, oh, how dare you ask him about a man's unit? Which, on the one hand, I thought, yeah, it's kind of low class to do that. But on the other hand, I thought, well, he was in the movie, but I don't understand, like, who cares, right? Like, why would you ask that? But the BBC actually came out and apologized for it. Like, and if you know anything about the BBC and how insanely woke they are, that is the thing they chose to apologize for. Like, oh, sorry, we didn't mean to offend the celebrities. Meanwhile, they're just as they make the Google Gemini AI program look normal. I mean, that's how woke they are at the BBC. They probably make their programming based on Google AI and then say, oh, that's not woke enough. So then we got some premieres here. About Dry Grasses. I have no idea what this is. $14,400. It's only in 3 theaters. Let's look at the poster at least. A masterpiece. They say that about everything. International box office is 1.4 million. So sounds like it's a movie that did okay, and not even okay overseas, but I don't know, it did some business. Oh wait, it's definitely a foreign movie. Look at that title. Kuro Atra Otsun. No idea. No idea what language that is. I'll guess. What language would that be? Kuro Atra Otsun. With all those umlauts, I guess I'd lean towards Germany, but it doesn't look like Germany on the poster. I mean, but that's a lot of umlauts, so I'll say Germany. Golden Years, 4 theaters, $6,734. That doesn't sound very good. Looks like a musical. Oh, also another foreign movie. This definitely sounds German. Die Golden Jahir. Hi, how you doing, German guy? Die Golden Jahir. Ardent, LOL, if I ever make a movie, the only press blurb I want and will be happy pay for is it doesn't suck. See, my movie, it doesn't suck. John Adams is here. Ferengi? Perhaps. Klingon, perhaps. Whatever happened to that movie? They translated like Shakespeare in the Klingon. I'm surprised nobody actually, didn't make a movie in Klingon. That would have been hilarious. I guess they probably would have run into some problems with the copyright on it. Neo is the last movie, $3,763 in 2 theaters, and that concludes the box office, which was only 58 million, which is down from last week. Last week it was actually at 78, I think. I think it was 78 last week. Yeah, 78, which is still not great, but it was better than the week before where it was like 30 something. Oh my God. Yeah, 37 million. That was February 9th. That was 2 weeks ago. So from 37 million to 78 million to 58 million. I mean, it's terrible. These are terrible numbers. There's nothing here. What the hell would you put on 16 screens here? I guess Bob Marley, I would run that. Ordinary Angels, sure. I would run that. The anime movie, I would run, I guess, just to have something different. Madam Web, no. No, Madam Web. Migration, now, in its 10th week? If you had nothing else, sure. Argyle, no. That has to go. It's in its 4th week, but it tanked. Wonka, it's in its 11th week. It's got to be something else. Drive Away Dolls is new. Beekeeper, maybe. The Chosen, it's its 2nd week, so sure. Anyone But You, it's in its 10th week. You got to let it go. Land of the Bad, again, 2nd week. You would have had to keep it. But Perfect Days, it's in its 16th week. It cracked a $500,000. No. Lisa Frankenstein, no, out. Save it for October. Mean Girls, no. Night Swim, it's in its 8th week. Les Miserables, no. Ardent, Plackled. Clint Miller, in the Pineys Book 11, why did Cousin Lewis wear that hokey Hasidic Jew disguise instead of using a glamour like he did with the cousins in Nikki in Book 9? Because Lewis sucks at being the witch boy. Holly, many double up and play the same movie on multiple screens. Yeah, that's stupid though. Unless you have a hit movie. Like, I get that if you have like the Avengers in their prime, but I mean, there's not one movie on here that deserves to be on 2 screens, in my view. Ardent, is Neo a biopic about a Neo Morricone, the soundtrack guy? I don't know. Let's look it up. Quentin Tarantino and Clint Eastwood. You know what? It is. You nailed it. Yep, there he is, making music. A documentary about the legendary film composer and Neo Morricone. Yep. And Clint Eastwood and Quentin Tarantino were involved. So I assume they both knew who he was and worked with him at some point. Or in the case of Quentin Tarantino, wanted to work with him. So that might be worth seeing. Although, well, it's been, I don't know, man. That's an art house movie. See, they list the art house movies. Like, I can understand a movie like a Neo hanging around for 3 weeks in art house films because not a lot of people see those movies. There should be a separate list, really. But there's so many I mean, I looked at so many trailers this week. I look at 14, 15 trailers a week. There's all these movies out. They don't get distribution. They never end up on this list. Now, some of them don't deserve to be on there, but a lot of them I'm like, seems like a perfectly fine movie. What the hell? Ardent, Tarantino and Eastwood might have to see that. Love Is Music. I think Morricone did the soundtrack for The Hateful Eight. I have mixed feelings about The Hateful Eight. I mean, I have nothing against the soundtrack, but it drove me nuts that Quentin Tarantino shot a movie inside a house like it was the 70s. The reason they shot movies like that in the 70s was because they had no budget. Quentin Tarantino had a budget, and in fact, shot the damn thing on widescreen and, I don't know, 72 millimeter or whatever it was, and didn't shoot any sweeping vistas of snow and, mountains, which he clearly had the budget for. Like, just to shoot a few scenes outside would have been nice. To just justify the insane expense of that movie, instead of, like, why even taunt us? I don't know. It just, why even do it in 75 or 72 millimeter, whatever it is, if you're not going to do at least a couple sweeping vistas? Like, who the hell wants to see a bunch of actors cramped in that situation? It just, I don't know. I liked Kurt Russell in it, though. Kurt Russell was amazing in it. But everybody else, I was like, no. I question his creative choices. Holly M., I thought The Hateful Eight had a good story. Yeah, but, like, I don't know. It was just, Quentin, like, to me, he copies so much from the 70s. Like, he copies too much. And sometimes I think he doesn't even realize what he's copying. Like, he doesn't have to copy everything. Some things he could let go. Because they only did that for practical purposes. They didn't have a lot of money, so they shot inside. That was the whole purpose. To shoot in this cooped up area. You don't need to shoot this big giant movie and then complain that it wasn't shown on big screens and then shoot it so long there had to be an intermission in it. Like, if you're going to shoot a movie like that, make it cheap. I mean, it doesn't have to look cheap. But if you're going to tout this gigantic movie, what do you expect when people don't go see it? When it doesn't live up to their expectations? When people hear, like, oh, it's going to be on this widescreen TV thing, or widescreen movie thing, and it's going to have this amazing sound, and they expect, like, something big. They don't expect a cooped-up movie. Ardent, someone needs to force Tarantino to make a sci-fi flick. Well, the rumor was he was pitching for Star Trek, and he was either going to do a movie or a show. But the new rumor is he's retiring from movies, but he's going into TV. He's saying he retired from movies and then he's going to do some kind of TV project because everybody's kind of gravitating back into TV, which I would like to see. I would like to see him do a TV show, whatever it is. Sci-fi could be cool. I want him to do an original thing, though. I don't want him to do... Like, Star Trek would have been a disaster. Although, arguably, it would have been better than the crap they're putting out now. But I think if he did, basically Pulp Fiction in space, it would be pretty much gangbusters. Yeah, criminals in space, I'm all about it. John Adams, I really dislike The Hateful Eight. Yeah, I do too. Although not as much as Inglourious Bastards, which I kind of hate that movie. Just didn't like it. I didn't like the whole twisting of history thing. Although, ironically, weirdly, I do kind of like it in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I kind of like that. I feel like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is like... It's like Hollywood's revenge in movie form against Charles Manson. So that to me was kind of cool. I kind of liked that. But didn't like it in Glorious Bastards. I just thought it was stupid. And there was a lot of wasted time in that. I wanted to see the Inglourious Bastards tear across Germany and kill the bad guys from Germany. Like a lot of them. Like a ridiculous amount of them. And then, whatever. Then I would have liked the ending, I guess. But I felt I got robbed in that movie. I didn't want to see half the movie about a girl who escapes to Paris and has an interracial love with this guy and they open a movie theater. Like, what? I don't want to see that. What I wanted to see was the Inglorious Bastards being glorious. Arden, he's got a talent for genre-crossing stuff. From Dusk Till Dawn, maybe give him a space war movie, rip off of Three Kings. I don't know. I think, to me, when I write this stuff, I like to ease into it. And I think that's what you should especially do with a TV show. You should start small and slowly. I'll tell you a great comic that was, it kind of went the other way, but you could do something with it. Evan Dorkin did a comic book called Pirate Corps. And it was about these guys who, they want to be space pirates, but they're so disorganized and lame. They end up coming to this planet, and the crew kind of goes out and spends all their money, and the captain can't get the spaceship out of hock because they owe too much to the dock where they dock the ship, and they're all like living on the ship, and it's basically like their house now, and nobody's got their act together enough to get enough money so they can get out of dock and then go raid other ships. So they got no money and no hope, and they're just sitting around getting high and going to concerts and stuff. It's kind of funny. That to me would be a fun Tarantino type movie. John Adams, Christopher Waltz was the best in about Inglourious Bastards. Yeah, he's good in it. I don't know. I like him. I still feel like, though, he hasn't gotten the movie that's perfect for him. I still feel like he's an untapped resource that never seems to get the right movie for him. It's a shame because it should have been amazing with him as being like the Blofeld. Like, that should have been amazing, and it kind of wasn't because they're just ruining Bond too. But he's pretty good in Django Unchained. He's pretty good in that, but it's not his movie. So Hateful Eight, or not Hateful Eight, Inglourious Bastards is kind of his movie, but there's a lot of other people going. I mean, like, it's not anybody's. I guess it's Tarantino's movie, really, but I don't know. He seems like an untapped resource that hasn't gotten the movie yet that would really be like, wow, They just seem to waste him in everything he's in. All right, so I got through the whole list here, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. It's time to check the trades. What's going on in Variety? Oh, well, award shows. You know how I love those. The Spirit Awards. Ooh. Remember the Spirit Awards? How many? Gee, I wonder why nobody watches the Oscars. You're having the Spirit Awards, I think the Oscars are in a few weeks. So right before the Oscars, you're going to have the Spirit Awards. So people will be completely exhausted of awards when you finally do the Oscars. Who cares about the Spirit Awards? There's just too many award shows. Who cares? Ardent, that's a lot of spirit in her dress. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that, but I don't know who she is. I didn't want to say something, but I'll read what you said. So yeah, I don't know who that is. That Lizzo? I don't think it's Lizzo, but I guess that's Divine Joy Randolph. Is that her? I don't know. It's like, who cares about the Spirit Awards? Here's Shane Gillis opens SNL monologue by addressing getting fired from show. Don't Google that. Who the hell watches this? On the one hand, The only thing that made Shane Gillis cool was, Ardent, I'll be the voice of your snark. Thank you. Thank you, Ardent. Like, no one's watching SNL as far as I could see. I mean, pretty much everybody I've ever talked to about SNL goes, oh yeah, it's terrible now. So, like, the only cool thing about this dude was he got fired from SNL, and then he comes back to host for what? He's not in anything. He's in the Bud Light commercials now. He's the Bud Light spokesman. Like, career's not going great if you have to follow Dylan Mulvaney on the Bud Light front. Still being actively boycotted. So, I don't know why. How is this a win? I don't see it. I guess people are just trying to get whatever last gasp there is out of television. Speaking of which, I finally landed an interview on an actual television station locally, which will be on I'm hoping within a few weeks, maybe a month or two. It's on Channel 17, which isn't one of the main channels here. It's like one of the local channels, but still, television does open you up to thousands of people as opposed to just a few hundred or whatever on the internet, depending on your, reach. And but like, I don't know, man. Seems like he'd be cooler if he had just never showed up on SNL. LOL, which is worse, hosting SNL nowadays or following Dylan Mulvaney? Yeah, it's like, doesn't seem like a win. It doesn't seem like a total loss for him, but it doesn't seem like a win. The big news in comedy this week dropped last night, and it actually happened a few days ago, but I found out about it last night. Gary over at Neurotic tweeted this article, and what had happened was there were 4 comedians. It was Kurt Metzger, who's on the Jimmy Dore show, and he's also on the Kyle Dunningham show, which is really good. You should watch it. And who else? Oh, Jim Florentine, who used to be on Crank Yankers, very funny. Dave Smith, who's a libertarian comedian, and another comedian named like Luis Gomez, I think. Anyhow, the 4 of them were flagged by a Seattle comedy club as being not woke and as being too offensive to be allowed to perform at the comedy club. So the comedy club canceled their shows and made an announcement about how they have to side with the local community and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's just an insane thing, but they're canceling comedians over their politics. And I know for a fact that Kurt Metzger, who tweeted about it, is very left. I mean, he's on the Jimmy Dore show. He's very liberal. And for them to cancel him, and, Dave Smith is just a libertarian. I'm not sure about Jim Florentine or the other guy, but in terms of their politics, but it's just ridiculous. They're just comedians. Ardent, so they're actually funny. Yes, they are very funny. I like Kurt too, although I don't agree with a lot of his politics, but he's funny. He's honest. He's one of the few honest liberals. Him and like Jimmy Dore and sometimes Bill Maher, my old boss. They at least acknowledge reality, right? They look at Biden and go, oh, he's a decrepit old mummy. And yeah, you argue with some other Democrats and they'll, oh my God, they'll defend Biden all day long. And you're just like, look, he's dying. You can see him dying in front of us. Why won't you stop this? Because it doesn't matter if you're not a Democrat and you say stuff against Biden, people just say, well, you're just partisan. But if actual Democrats come out and say, hey, this has to stop, and a lot of them do it, well, guess what? Somebody's going to listen at least. I mean, they may still not do anything, but, and to keep that going, to keep the lie up and keep saying, no, we have to support this guy, you drive people out of your own party, and that's what's happening. A lot of people are leaving the Democratic Party over this. and a lot of other reasons. But yeah, the fact that they just won't give up I mean, it's demoralizing them. So, but yeah, that's what Seattle comedy clubs do. Everybody, they want to keep you safe from bad words. Bad words. Oh no. No, no, you don't want that. You want everything to be good and wholesome. Not funny, but good. Uh, oh, this seems like a recent thing. Kenneth Mitchell, Star Trek Discovery and Captain Marvel actor, dies at 49. Who is this? I don't watch either one of them, so. But 49 seems too young, said the 57-year-old. Ardent, Biden's brain is literally being held in by earpieces. Yeah, at this point. He had multiple roles on Star Trek Discovery. I guess he was in the alien makeup. He died of ALS complications on Saturday. That's a shame. He played Klingons. A bunch of different Klingons. He played Carol Danvers' father in Captain Marvel. That's a shame. Too young. Oh, here it is. I told you. Could Lily Gladstone's historic win get her over the finish line? They want Lily Gladstone to get Best Actress for a movie, Killers of the Flower Moon, which a lot of people didn't see. For good reason. 3.5 hours, over 3.5 hours long. Almost 4 hours. Almost 4. If you had to round up, you'd round it up to 4 hours. You'd basically say, oh, it's a 4-hour movie. But they absolutely are going to give her Best Actress. And they're going to crow about it. Oh, it's a historic win for an Indigenous person to win an award. Oh, it's historic. It's historic. The Oscars are important, everybody. Pathetic. Pathetic. I don't know if she deserves it or not. I didn't see the damn movie, but I don't think so, would be my guess. My guess would be somebody in Oppenheimer probably deserves it, because that seems to be the movie that should win all the awards this year. But there's probably a handful of other movies that nobody ever saw either that are probably pretty good from 2023, but would never get nominated for an Oscar because they're not from the right studios. They don't know the right people, or the filmmakers aren't important, so F them. That's the way it works, folks. That's the way it works, in my view. Netflix strives for a kooky SAG Awards, while Hollywood superstars Fran Drescher and Barbara Streisand brought the award show gold. I don't know what that means. What's a kooky SAG Awards? Are they just talking about the SAG Awards and they're calling it kooky? Weird. Too many award shows. It's just too many. Look, how many award shows get mentioned just on this headline? The Spirit Awards, the Oscars, and whatever this is, kooky SAG Awards. I don't know. Is that a legit thing? Or they're saying the SAG Awards are kooky? Nick Offerman from Parks and Rec, the guy who played the libertarian character, Nick Offerman slams homophobic hate against his Last of Us episode. It's not a gay story, it's a love story, you a-hole. So, in case you don't know it, actors, they play characters really, really well sometimes. And people identify Nick Offerman as the libertarian, but he's not a libertarian at all, sadly. He's just really good at looking like a libertarian and sounding like one. But he doesn't understand why people don't like the Last of Us episode, because I don't even think this is in the video game, right? I don't think the characters were in it. It was just sort of jammed into the TV series because, again, woke, 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 woke all day long from the people who make movies and TV shows. And sure, the story might have been fine. I don't know. I didn't say it. I'm not interested in saying that. But the fact that it's jammed in things again and again and again, It annoys people because they don't generally want to see it. And okay, you made something you feel is good, but you don't understand who these shows are supposedly aimed at. It was a video game, typically aimed at men. They woke it up, and then they woke up the TV show. So you're wondering why people are annoyed by it. It has nothing to do with the fact there's gay stuff in it. It has to do with the fact you won't stop jamming the message in our face. Stop it. Stop doing it. It's counterproductive to your own social engineering, if that's what you want to call it. It's counterproductive to that. Ardent, another youngish actor died. Yes. I wonder if it could be a certain medical procedure. Holly M. It was one of the best Last of Us episodes. It made me cry. It was really good. I'll have to take your word for it, because I don't want to see any of it. Ardent, I'd rather watch Offerman do woodwork than act. Yeah, he's pretty good at that too. But again, it might have been really good if they had done it as its own thing, apart from the video game. Maybe it would be getting awards right now. But it's like, hey, I did this gay thing and I put it in a Superman comic. Well, see, people aren't going to say, hooray! It's like saying, like, hey, everybody, I'm doing a new episode of the funniest show ever, Seinfeld. But this is going to be different. See, instead of it being funny, Jerry gets cancer and is dying, and then we get to see his final words on his deathbed with his friends. Like, you could make that really good, but who cares? It's Seinfeld. It's supposed to be funny. So no one's going to care, no matter how good it is. It could be the greatest acting job in the world. Jason Alexander could be amazing and bring tears to the eyes of people who never saw Seinfeld before. But for the people who are fans of Seinfeld, they'd be like, what the F are you doing to my show? And they feel that it's their show. People felt the same way about The Last of Us. It was a great first video game. Then they made the woke sequel, and everybody got mad. This isn't the sequel I wanted. This isn't following the story you began with. You're forcing all this message down my throat. And then they did the same thing with the TV show, in my view. But I see what you're saying. I'm sure it was fine. Offerman's a good actor. But I'm not going to watch it because that's not what I associate with Last of Us. It's also, I heard it went woke. I have no interest in that. Because, you know, from a creative standpoint, that's usually a red flag to, hey, there's a bunch of stupid stuff in here that have no business being in there. And it's just going to take a left turn right in the middle of the show. Ardent, gay Superman. So 90s North Star from Alpha Flight. Exactly. And they already had these characters. And they know they already have these characters. Ardent, Fable game fans feel that pain. It's like, you can do this stuff, and you can make it work. You know, Tom Hanks did Philadelphia, and everybody liked it. Nobody came out and said, oh, I can't believe they made a lawyer gay. No, because it wasn't like Philadelphia was based on a comic book called Philadelphia, where the guy was an adventuring, straight man who fought crime. No, it was what it was. It was a story about a guy who dies of AIDS. The problem with all these woke projects is they just can't do its own thing. And they're doing that because they think they need to reach audiences that have no interest in this. They think they need to reach men and say, hey, men, you're not thinking enough about gay people. Hey, straight men, you've got to watch this because otherwise you'll attack gay people in the street. That's just not true. They don't They don't, just because they don't watch something in their entertainment has nothing to do with the way they act or think. In fact, it often creates the opposite effect, because when you annoy them so much, then they're likely to go off when somebody talks about it. And then that causes tension, and then people respond, and then that could lead to something bad. Ardent. And it wasn't even that they made a gay character in the new Fable game, they just made an ugly protagonist. Yeah, I don't care if they introduce a new character in Superman who's gay. Okay. Now, if they introduce that character and he becomes the center of the Superman comic, I'm going to be like, well, it's not really Superman if it's about this guy. Make its own comic. Will I read it? Probably not. Because I'm not interested in reading about a character just because he's gay. But if you come up with some reason he's a cool character, sure, maybe I'd read it. And just because a character's gay or trans or whatever doesn't mean they're going to endlessly obsess over their gayness and transness and who they sleep with and over again. I know trans and gay people. They don't spend all their time lecturing me about their sexuality. They just live their lives. Maybe it comes up in normal conversation once in a while, once in a blue moon, about as often as it would come up with anybody else. But look at what these guys write. It's endless. It's like, oh, well, being a trans person, this and this and this and this. Who cares? Stop lecturing people. It's annoying and boring. Sorry, blowing up on the phone. But Hollywood is in love with itself. And they want to show everybody how wonderful. See how wonderful we are? We have gay people in our stories. Oh, you don't like it? You're a bigot. Here's another actor who died. Chris Gauthier, Smee in Once Upon a Time, dies at 48. I don't know who this is. Well, we'll take a look. Seems a little heavy. Smallville, Eureka. He was in that. Died February 23 from an unspecified short illness. He was 48. Too young. Too young. Ardent, LOL, they made a trans or gay, not vegan. They're trans or gay, not vegan. Haha. Yeah, now I get it. This was a big story this week. The DVD biz has circled the drain for years. In 2024, it goes down the tubes. They're getting rid of physical media. Start collecting physical media. They're trying to get rid of it all. They want to get rid of it because in the future, you'll only be able to rent. You'll only rent. You won't be able to buy books. You won't be able to buy movies. You won't be able to buy anything. You'll be able to rent it. And then if you end your subscription, goodbye, library of movies you've paid for. Goodbye. That's what they want. Hopefully that changes at some point. Hopefully there's a bit of a rebellion against that, but we'll see. Ardent, doubt it. Cassettes are back. Well, hopefully. Hopefully they stick around. Hopefully this stuff sticks around. Cassettes are back? Really? I still have cassettes. None of them work now. They don't store very well. I hate to tell you. I have like cassettes of like songs I made, mixtapes, as the kids used to say. Holly M, I get my media the old-fashioned way from torrent. I have to disavow that because it's YouTube. But back in the day when we had tape recorders and you had to push two buttons to start recording and then hold the tape recorder up to the radio or stereo speaker, and then you'd make a tape, and then you'd stop it and then play the next song and then hit record again. That's how we made mixtapes. Now you can make them slightly, like I have a boom box in the background. I don't know if you can see it way back there. That was a little easier because you could put the CD in the top and record it on a cassette on that thing. But here's what happens to cassettes after a few years. So the tape is spooled on the little little tape things inside the cassette player, and there's 4 tracks on the tape. And like when you play it in one direction, it plays 2 tracks, and when you play it the other direction, it plays the other 2 tracks. And over the years, the sound will bleed across the tracks and bleed, like, because it's all spooled up, it'll bleed into each other. So it, like, I have tapes, I'm sure they're unplayable now. I haven't played them in years. Holly, the mixtape, yep. Ardent, Stormy says hello, by the way. Hello, Stormy. Ardent, I was going to ask about the boombox. Travis, the 7th, ahoy! The quality of physical media storage is relative. We, the peoples of the Caribbean, know quite well how salt breaks down DVDs. Oh, interesting. I had no idea. We've adapted accordingly. Yo-ho. Interesting. So it breaks down the DVDs, does it? Huh. That's interesting to me because I did, many years ago, I wrote a documentary on how CDs were made. And I think DVDs are made the same way. And what it is, the silver part of a DVD or CD is made out of aluminum. Ardent, LOL. And the aluminum is will get very rusty very quickly. But it's encased in clear plastic, so they can't get any air to it. Ardent, salt air buggers almost everything. Salt air buggers almost everything. Yeah, I guess. So I guess it's getting through that plastic containment. I guess it probably does the same thing to your CDs. Holly M, I remember when DVDs first came out and they said they were indestructible, while we did find out they were not indestructible and they would skip and scratch easily and all other things. Well, it's just like anything else, you know. I still have vinyl too. If you take care of it, it's fine. You know, I don't have anything handy. I used to have DVDs on my desk. I went to reach for one and then realized, oh yeah, I moved them years ago. But, you know, you put your finger through the thing and then carry it like that, upside down, and then put it in and then take it out, and then put it in the case and take it out or whatever. But there was DVD cleaners. I used to have a DVD cleaner. I think it's somewhere under my pile of crap. And you could clean it. And that was the secret for CDs or even DVDs. If you scratched it and the scratch wasn't too bad, you could take Windex and clean the scratch so clear it wouldn't make anything skip. Ardent made awesome ninja stars. Interesting. But that's sad to hear that the CDs and the DVDs won't hold up in the salt water. Nothing lasts, I guess. I mean, vinyl. I wonder if vinyl, does it do stuff to vinyl, I wonder? And what else is there? I don't know. I guess that's it. I guess digital is the only other way. You know, and the weird thing is too, they're developing these digital AI packages now from Microsoft. Get ready to get rid of your Microsoft operating system, by the way. People are going to be transferring to Linux in the next 5 years, because what they're doing, I've heard, is they're going to make it impossible for you to have Microsoft Office without having an account. And if you have an account, the AI will be able to go into your computer and do stuff to it. And make you pay for things and monitor you to make sure you're paying for their rental space on all their programs and whatnot. Something like that. I don't quite understand it, but it's very scary to me. John Adams, I'll bet salt would clog the vinyl. Maybe. I mean, if pieces got on there, it certainly would scratch it. But again, I guess you could take care of it. Traxxas the 7th. I didn't buy my first media without torrenting till I was an adult, when it was accessible enough. Problem with buying media, physical or otherwise, it's not always reasonably priced. But you're going to have to be careful because, again, in the future, you're going to have these AIs that'll be so powerful. Yeah, you could torrent stuff, but it may be edited, right? It may be the file like, you know, that's oh, you got a James Bond movie, but the AI already went in and removed all the smoking and the drinking and the sexual language and the sex and anything that was even remotely racist and turned it into this absolute nothing of a movie. So that's the real danger, is that the AIs will be so powerful they'll just get right in there and just edit everything. My nightmare is that they're going to get into my books and change my books like on Amazon. Like they'll just decide, oh, your books are too racy. Don't worry, we changed everything. It's fine now. And then I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. But, you know, buy my books, everybody, before they ruin them. John Adams, I used to work at Microsoft, and they wanted everyone to have online accounts for like a decade. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. They want our money. All the time, our money. The only thing I'm paying for on the reg is Grammarly, because I need that badly. But there are other things too. You know, sometimes you need it, but they want to like have you locked in, so you have to buy it. So like your computer won't work without it, or won't work very well, or be very, very slow, I think. So, Traxxas the 7th. I guess we'll have to hold each other accountable for authenticity. Underground internet circles can self-regulate kind of stuff. That kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And they're coming after that too. So, you know what it's going to be? It's going to be like, you're going to have, it's kind of like, it's already there now. You need defenses on your computer, right? You need virus protection. You need protection. You're going to need stuff to like hide your identity. I mean, they have VPNs, right? You can use the VPN to do different things. We're going to need that in the future. In the future, that's what you're going to need. You're going to have a computer, and you're going to have to buy all this extra software just to be able to roam freely. So, Ardent, there are a fair number of anti-revisionist movements, people who circulate uncensored literature, etc. Good. Good. And I think there's going to be a real pushback at some point, like, you know, you're talking about the cassettes thing. I think there's just in general, you know, there's still a lot of people who love books and read them and want physical copies. So that much is good. And there are so many books. Hopefully they're not going to be able to go after them. Hopefully they won't even bother to sick the AIs on them, because there's just so much crap out there. A bunch of stuff they just don't even care about. It's just when somebody's head, you know, pops up and they start making money, or they start to like change the world, that's when they go after you. So, but, you know, you should be doing well if that's happening. Let's see. The Game of Thrones cookbook features 80 Westeros-inspired recipes with a foreword by George R.R. Martin. So he finished this book. No, he can finish one book. Can't finish the Fire and Ice thing he started, or whatever the hell it is. But he can finish a cookbook. Yeah, look at him. I bet he can finish a cookbook. Unbelievable. Oh, here's a new movie. So this is the one useful thing for a publication like Variety. Korean box office. Exuma makes 16.8 million commercial debut after Berlin premiere. So this, I bet this is a hot movie. Because the South Koreans, they make good movies. They are kicking it out of the park with a lot of their movies. It's an occult drama thriller. Exuma dominated South Korean box office with a scarily good debut approaching 17 million. The film is about two shaman, a feng shui master, and a mortician who attempt to undo the mysterious events happening to the U.S.-based Korean family. So cool. That sounds cool. All right. So look for that. Exuma. All right. Moving on to Fandom Pulse. This happened. This also just happened, I think, yesterday. No, Friday. Traxxas the 7th. I'm convinced Ty Frank, I don't think I'm saying that right, Frank? Or someone like that will end up finishing a Song of Ice and Fire. They will just use George's notes. He won't be able to finish before cholesterol gets him. Yeah, it sounds like it's going that way. I don't know if anybody will care by the time that happens, quite frankly, but maybe. He should just finish his damn books. I don't know. Success might have ruined him, I guess. I mean, look, I don't know how I would react with that much success, but, early in my life, I think I would have died. Like, if I had been the huge success I expected to be in my 20s, I think I'd be dead. No problem. No question, I'd be dead. Now I think I'd be much better at it, regulating myself and all, but I don't know. Ardent, the fuck you? Who would pepper spray Chrissy? Yes, so this was, no, I guess it was Saturday. She did this comedy show, and then after the show, and she's 8 months pregnant, by the way. After the show, she's outside talking to some fans, and some D-bag pepper sprayed the entire crowd. And so I'm not sure if they caught the guy or what, but that's not good for a woman who's 8 months pregnant. That could have caused a miscarriage or something. That was horrific. But she seems to be fine. But she was talking about it recently. So, yeah. It's like, what are you going after her for? But this is the world we live in, unfortunately, when you become famous. And she's getting pretty famous these days, and she tours the country. So this is the kind of stuff I worry about. But fortunately, all the places I go to are usually in South Jersey. So people know me, and they kind of watch out for me. So far I've been okay. I haven't found much of a problem where I go. But, I mean, Chrissy is touring the country doing stand-up and stuff. And she's 8 months pregnant, which is, like, nuts. She should probably, I don't know if she should be touring at 8 months pregnant. She should probably go home for a couple of months and take care of business. But, Ardent said D-bag should be in a body. No, mustn't rage post. Yeah, don't rage post. It's YouTube. John Adams, if they caught the guy, it's news to me. Yeah, I guess they didn't catch him then. I don't know how they couldn't catch him, but I guess there was no cops in the immediate vicinity. So I guess he just did it and ran. But there's cameras everywhere now, and I guarantee you he's on a camera somewhere, and they're going to catch him. I mean, I'm working on a screenplay right now, and part of the problem is it takes place in New York, and it's like there are cameras everywhere. So I have to keep making up excuses why the cops can't find the guy immediately. But, I think they'll eventually get him. That's pretty bad. Sex and species swap Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin, re-evolution by IDW. Does anybody have an interest in that? I don't think so. What did they swap? It's weird. The upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book published by IDW that is somehow still in business. The Last Ronin 2, Re-Evolution, is a disappointing sex and species swapped continuation of the beloved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle franchise. Despite being penned by the original creative team, includes writers Kevin Eastman and Tom Waltz, and featuring IDW team of Ben Bishop, Izo Escora, and Isaac Escora, the direction taken in this installment is a disservice to the iconic characters and the narrative established in the previous series. Man. John Adams said it in the 70s. That would be fun. Disney and Warner Brothers caught red-handed using verified bot accounts on Twitter. So there's that. I mean, that's something I assume they did. Ardent, right. Need to start reading Fandom Pulse. It's pretty good. John Della Rose, and I wrote some op-ed pieces for him, just to be clear. I think he's doing a good job. He's trying to outmaneuver Bounding in the Comics, which he used to work for. He says has gone very corporate. I don't think it's gone woke, but I think it's gone corporate. Maybe. I don't know. Here's DC developing new Jurassic Justice League animated project. Why the F? Who the F would watch that? Ardent. Shocking, not really. News is about the bot accounts. Who the heck would you watch a Jurassic Justice League cartoon? It doesn't even make any sense. Jurassic Justice League. It makes no sense. A Triceratops Wonder Woman or Wonder Dawn. I don't know what that is even supposed to be. Is that like a dolphin Superman? And then I don't know what these are supposed to be. Some kind of green Batman? I don't really get what this is. They're dinosaur people? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. This was big news. Hollywood decided, or Tyler Perry, the guy who does all those movies, he was going to build an $800 million studio. But after seeing the footage from the AI and how improved it went, you remember the, Will Smith eating spaghetti from last year? So they came out with new footage from the same one, and now it's pretty good. It's not good enough to be in a movie, but it's good enough for like a commercial. Ardent, who? Why? Huh? Jurassic League? Who greenlights this trash? I don't know. They don't even do the smart thing, which would be to put out some feelers on the internet to see if anybody likes it, and then at least make the decision based on that if they don't have their own, I don't know, they clearly don't have a creative mind. Like the people making these decisions, they clearly don't know what they're doing, in my view. Like, if I was working at the DC offices, and I applied to be the editor-in-chief at Mad Magazine, by the way. I had a really good cover letter, I thought. But, I just would be like, Jurassic? I don't know. One issue? Do one issue of it, okay. That would be the best you would get out of me. Like, yeah, you could do a fantasy issue in, like, I don't know, the Justice League. For the annual or something. You could do something crazy for the annual. Oh, can we do it across all the annuals? No, that's too much. Maybe one, just for fun, to mix things up. But I wouldn't say, oh yeah, we're going to develop a new series. What are you, nuts? Who's going to buy this? Who's it for? It doesn't even make any sense. Like, if you want to do a joke comic like that, okay, you could do one story. Do one story. Maybe have 5 stories in it, and that'll be one. Like, this is the joke Justice League issue. We'll do Jurassic Justice League, and then we'll do, I don't know, Midget Justice League, and then we'll do the Justice League if they were all babies, and whatever. They did that online. But to do that, like, oh, guess what, everybody? Let's do the Jurassic Justice League. Like, it's not going to be a long-distance thing. You can get one story out of it, maybe, and it's really not a story. It's more of a novelty. Ardent, yeah, Hollywood and the comics industry should be watching Nerdrotic, Doomcock, Critical Drinker, etc. And pay attention. No, they don't do that. They do the exact opposite, because if they, first off, they acknowledged any of us, I guess they would have to pay us something. They don't want to do that. Oh, God, no. Oh, no, we might have to pay these people. Let's do the opposite so they know we didn't listen to them. Ardent, underwater lesbian basket weaving Justice League. Yeah. It's like, or they could just, I don't know, hire talent. I mean, there's always that. I mean, Tyler Perry's not untalented, but I don't know. I don't watch his movies. I think they're kind of the same movie over and over. But now that he's putting the brakes on an $800 million studio, like $800 million, like why even build this studio? If you have $800 million, just make the movies, dude. That's more than enough money to make. I don't know. You can make 20, $40 million movies. I mean, that seems like it would be a good use of the money in that realm, right? You make 20 movies at $40 million each over, I don't know, you'd need probably, how many movies could you make? I mean, you could put maybe 2 in production. Okay, so 2 in production. So over 10 years, you make 2 movies a year. 2 movies a year at 40 million each. You'd probably get a couple of hits out of that that would make all the money back. And then, the rest of it would all be gravy. So, what are you going to build an $800 million studio for? What is it even for? How can you even make your money back? But definitely AI is going to put the brakes on, like if you want to do a commercial and you're like a car dealership locally, all you got to do is type in Hyundais, hot chicks walking around the Hyundais and squealing, and then you put in a voiceover, you're good to go. You don't even have to show the hot girls, really. They just want to show the cars and those things. Although there's a bunch of rules for car dealerships and TV stuff, but if you've got, let's say, a used car dealership, you probably, most of those rules kind of don't apply to you anyway. So Ardent, how much Medea do we really need, though? It's true. Holly, the real reason he's not building his studio, it's because George is taking the 30% tax credit. That's the real reason. Oh, Georgia. George, you said George, and I'm thinking like George W. Bush. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a big reason. That's a big reason if he's not getting the tax credit. So maybe that's how he pulled out of the deal. Well, I'm sure there's another state that would give him that tax credit. I'm sure Canada would give him that tax credit. Canada has ridiculous tax credits for movies. But then you have to be in Canada, and it's pretty much full-blown communism at this point. John Adams, the new AI models can make videos up to a minute long. It was up to 4 seconds last year. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's getting interesting. But again, I don't think the models can make movies. Like, I don't think they'll ever really be able to make good movies. Ardent, Canada sucks. Says the guy who's living in Canada. So he would know. Let's see. Oh, another big thing is Vice closed down this week. And apparently Razor Fist laughed at them. Let's see. Do they have a video? Or do they have his tweets? Oh, okay. Yeah, he made this. I think he made this video or he retweeted it. I guess he made it. It's a very funny video of the most ridiculous Vice headlines over the last few years. Ardent, euthanasia, crazed communism, here in the great white gulag. Oof. Oofa. Yeah. Must be weird calling up the National Health Service there and going, yeah, I'm not feeling great. And them going, have you considered killing yourself? No, I haven't. Wait a minute. I don't want to do that. I just want an aspirin. Okay, we'll send you the aspirin, but we could send you hemlock. Oh, hemlock. Oh, wait a minute. John Adams, did you watch the AI art debate between Shad Diversity And G Prime 85. No. Shad Diversity. That reminds me of Shady Nasty from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It was supposed to be Shad Dynasty. I guess that's a parody of it. Shad Dynasty, Shad Diversity. That must have been interesting. The AI art debate. I use AI art in on the Webcomic Factory for the insane AI comic, and I struggle to make them halfway decent. It's really hard to get the AI to do what you want. So far, at least the free ones that I use. Traxxas the 7th. Nowadays, I just threaten people by offering them Canadian healthcare. Ooh. Watch yourself out there. Ardent. I told the guy to kill himself on the internet last week. Now I'm being sued for practicing medicine without a license. Good, ka-ching. Nice. Shad Diversity is a YouTuber from Australia. Oh, okay. Shad Brooks. He's an Aussie that does medieval sword stuff, says John Adams. Oh, interesting. So why did he weigh in on the art debate? That's weird. But you should definitely check out this video. Because it has all these hilarious headlines from Vice. I went to a fetish party and left feeling just a bit sad. And other exciting Vice headlines from the years. Ardent, also a fantasy writer. Oh, okay. That makes a little more sense. Marvel and DC Comics admit the work from convicted, abuser of children. I guess I have to say, I'm going to get flagged on this live stream. Gerard Jones from their Amalgam Omnibus reprint. Yeah, I can imagine they would have to omit him. Although maybe, I guess they couldn't just take his name off the credits. That's weird, right? That's weird. I vaguely remember that story from, it was from 2006, I think he got arrested. But he's out of jail now. Ardent, if you go to a fetish party and feel sad, you went to the wrong party. Maybe go home and rethink your life. Yeah, that's what I would do. Seems sad either way. Okay, and then this I definitely wanted to talk about. And so back on Eric July stuff again. So Eric July's Ripperverse. Ardent, I love the Amalgam stuff. It was all right. It was fun. I like some of it. So Eric July's Ripperverse launches Joe Bennett, The Art of Alpha Corp #1 art book. Like, this comic literally just came out this year. Like, a couple of months ago. I reviewed it, right? Now they're doing an art book based on the first issue. Like, it's way too soon for this, I think. But apparently they're only making 2,000 issues and everybody bought them. So, they're making money on it, but it just seems like a weird collectible to make. I guess because it's like, well, we'll make this and make some money and keep the company going. But, I guess I'm glad for Joe Bennett and they want to give him money, but it just seems way too soon to do an art book based on the comic, the one comic you printed on these characters, right? They were in other stuff, but it's weird. It feels just like a collectible. I don't like them going down this road. I hope they don't do any more of these, but they probably will if it's successful. Seems like a bad idea. Oh, and this was another one. So this happened, I think, at the beginning of the week. Marvel Comics. John Adams, thanks again for reviewing it. Oh, no worries. Marvel Comics insults Christians by having Catholic priest Nightcrawler perform gay wedding of Mystique and Destiny. Ardent, oof. Is Rippa going the way of the 90s comic collectability? 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 Collectabilia? Collectability. Collectibles. I don't know. I think it's a bad move. He shouldn't go down that path, but there's tons of money in it. John Adams, I don't need an art book of all 3 comics. Yeah. If you don't push this story, there's no market. There's just nothing, no reason to have it. But this Marvel Comics having Nightcrawler perform a gay wedding of Mystique and Destiny, there's so many problems with it, I don't even know where to start, but this is modern day Marvel. Again, this to me is an example like, you can go do this story, do your gay wedding story if you think people will buy it as a comic, but don't jam it into the X-Men. It's not where it belongs. First off, they already did a gay wedding. North Star was gay. They already did this. They did it back in the 80s when it was edgy a little, and everybody was, oh my God, they're doing a gay wedding. Now it's like it doesn't even raise the hackles of anybody, except that they made Nightcrawler, a character that's been reliably Catholic for decades, perform the ceremony. Ardent, intentionally being offensive. Exactly. That it's clickbait is what it is. So in response to this, I started my new trend on Twitter. Or I'm trying to start it, where I pitch based plots for Marvel and DC, where I take these characters and I like fix the Marvel universe or make it like super based. So I think my plot pitch for the X-Men was, it's revealed that Mystique and all the Brotherhood of the Evil Mutants characters, they took a mutant who had some sort of like mutant brain power, and they got him to push the woke mind virus on all the X-Men, which is why the comics suck and they're all degenerates and they're all caught in these weird relationships and they're treating all the bad guys as nice people. And then Professor X manages to break the hold of the mutant and free the other characters, and they go back to being normal, but they're horrified at their behavior over the last 10 years or so. And they put Mystique and all the bad guys in prison, and they're out of the comic. But they'll never do that. Ardent, doing God's work, Tony. Yeah, trying. But it's fun to do. You should try it. So the hashtag is based Marvel and based DC Comics. Checking over at the Hollywood Reporter, probably the same damn news I just read in Variety, but let's check it out. More Spirit Awards, more Shane Gillis hosting SNL. No one cared. See, even Hollywood Reporter doesn't care. Shane Gillis hosts SNL not with a bang, but a meh analysis. So you didn't win over your old fans because they hate SNL. You didn't win any new fans because they hate you. What was the purpose of this? A bunch of people who don't like you got to see you and go, oh yeah, he is offensive. I'm glad they didn't put him on the show. Dumb move. Shane should have turned it down, and he should have made a big stink about it. They asked me to host the show. I told them to go F themselves. That would have been news. That would have been bigger news than this. Short of him dropping trow in the middle of the show, there was not going to be anything good about it. Nobody was going to say anything good. This was another story. Now, it says, as Coyote versus Acme hangs in the balance, Warner Brothers Discovery takes a $115 million write-down on mystery projects. So, I guess they're implying that they're taking a write-off for the Coyote versus Acme movie. John Adams, have you seen the Italian comedy show that made fun of Biden for not being able to find the podium? Funnier than modern SNL by far. I did see that. And they shot it in English and dubbed it in subtitled it in Italian. That was pretty good. Yeah, Yeah, like, and that was easy. That was like mild compared to like what they could do to Biden. They'll never do that. SNL will never do that. Oh my God. If I was running SNL, I'd have Biden staggering on stage, pooping himself continually. He'd be pooping his way across the stage. They'll never do that. God forbid. God forbid. Oh no, then Trump might get elected. Oh, oh I'm a scared. I'm a scared SNL comedian, everybody. Ooh. People are a disgrace. But yeah, it looks like they're taking a write-off for the Coyote versus Acme movie. It was a good pitch. I don't know why they would put John Cena in it. Makes no sense. Like, you got to put John Cena in it. I would go see a Coyote versus Acme movie that was completely animated. I would go see that 100%. And so would a lot of people. Vin Diesel is moving forward with the next Fast and Furious installment, everybody. So brace yourselves. This is the last one, finally. Number 11. Because you know you got to end these things at 11. I'm not sure if they're ending it because the last one didn't do as good or because Vin Diesel is in court possibly over some sex abuse charges, which I don't think I believe because it sounds like it came out of left field. Holly M., you know they keep saying that if Trump's reelected, it's a threat to democracy, yet Trump was president for 4 years and democracy is still here. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like James Lindsay says, he always says it's the iron law of woke projection. I think it's the iron law of democratic projection. So whatever they're saying, it's the opposite. So if they say something bad against Trump, it's really stuff they're doing. Because the rule of thumb is always accuse your opponents of that of which you are guilty. And then when you do it and they accuse you, they'll say, oh, you're just saying that because we accused you of it. But fortunately, that's sounding more and more hollow. And more people are just saying, I've had enough. But not enough, in my view. I'll only be satisfied if he wins every single state and every Democrat is kicked out of office. Then I'll be happy. Then I'll throw a party. But ain't gonna happen. I mean, he'll get in. I'm not sure what the makeup of Congress will be. Looks like we'll get the Senate back. Probably lose the House, unfortunately, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky and get both back, but either way, there's still a bunch of rhinos to deal with. It's probably what we're going to end up in New Jersey. Probably going to end up with a rhino governor, but it'll be a slight improvement from Murphy, I guess. We'll see. Maybe some based guy will get in. Maybe we'll get lucky. I have to register as a Republican again if I'm going to vote in the primaries, though. Let's see. Going over to Bounding in the Comics. More on Amalgam. Warner Brothers Discovery admits Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has fallen short of our expectations. Foresees a tough year for games divisions as they try to recover from title's failure. Yeah, I'd say that nobody wanting to buy your game is a pretty big failure. It's pretty big. Pretty big. There were more people online playing, like, I think Arkham Asylum than playing this game. Because you can play it online, too. Yeah, it's just a total disaster. I mean, what did you expect? Did you really think, hey, yeah, let's kill off Batman. That'll be fun. That'll be fun for the fans. How is that fun for fans? You have fans of the only thing Warner Brothers has is Batman. It has a huge, massive fan base. Oh yeah, let's kill him. Okay, yeah. It would be like saying, hey, we're Wendy's, and our mascot is a little girl. Let's kill her off. Or replace her with a fat old woman. Like, what are you doing? Are you trying to commit suicide in front of everybody? I mean, there's simpler ways to do that. Everybody should be fired in comics. I'd fire everybody at DC too. I would take that over. I go, okay, I'm only taking over if I could fire everybody and have complete control of the damn company and not have to listen to you asshats who ruined it. Obviously, they wouldn't give me control of anything because I just said that. But that's what I would do. I would start by firing everybody. Okay, they're having a big meeting. Everybody? Everybody? Oh, is everybody in? Okay, can everybody hear me? Okay, great. Everybody clear out your desk. You're all fired. There's no discussion. You're terrible. Get out. No, you don't have to finish work today. Just get out of here. You're wasting everybody's time. We'll figure it out. We're probably going to throw out everything, pay everybody off, and start over. Doesn't matter. We're going to close the shop down for a year. We're going to completely rehire new people. Please don't bother to apply. None of you are eligible to come back to work. None of you. And don't contact the freelancers. Just get the hell out of here and take your stinking gender nonsense with you. And then you'd have to start completely over. Ugh, what a mess that would be. It'd be a lot of work. Lionsgate taps Shang-Chi director Daniel Destin Cretton to helm live-action Naruto film. Series creator says he's the perfect director for the job. I don't think he's seen Shang-Chi and the Five Rings. Do you? Like, I don't know, dude. I guess if they give you a nice big fat paycheck, maybe I'd say that too, but I don't think I'd be too excited for the guy who directed Shang-Chi. Seems like kind of a step down. Like, if you found me the director of One Piece, that guy did a good job. Arden, I'd work for you, Tony. Good to know. Might need a lot of people. First, we're going to have to clean out the office. Ugh, I bet it stinks. I bet both Marvel and DC offices stink to high heaven. I bet it's a mess. I'd have to have, like, cleaning people come in and just rip out all the carpeting and just redesign the whole area. We've been throwing out action figures and comics all day, just getting rid of all that crap. Oh, this is going to be a mess. An absolute mess. But why would you hire the guy who directed Shang-Chi? I mean, what did this movie do? What did he even do? Let's see. Did it make money? Let's see if it made money. Might have made money. It was still at a time when Marvel was kind of making money. Ardent reeks of patchouli and body odor. Yeah, and worse. All right, Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Five Rings. So I guess it did make money. Yeah, that's probably money. 400,000, 150,000, or 432 million. It costs 150 million. So, yeah, it made 132 million, and then 14 on the video sales. So it did make money. John Adams, you'd have to fumigate it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I bet it's just gross. I wrote my version of what I think the Marvel offices are in Hollywoke, another novel. So the way I picture it, they're in LA in this office complex. The editor-in-chief was a man, but he's completely emasculated, and he volunteers to clean the break room kitchen, for the women. And he's doing that. And then they have like a mural of all the comic book characters. I don't call them Marvel characters in the book, obviously, but there's a mural of all the comic book characters and all the mostly female and trans staff. And what they've done is they've taped a bunch of crazy female stuff to the males, like tutus and tiaras and stuff, plastic tiaras and stuff, to make them look all like girly and gay, because they just want to humiliate the characters. They don't really want to work on them. Godzilla -1 director Takashi Yamazaki weighs in on the Legendary Pictures version and Garth Edwards directing new Jurassic Park film. How many more Jurassic Park films do we really need? I just don't like any of them. Disney is facing a lawsuit over the vaccine. The staff in General Hospital who got booted because they didn't take the vaccine are suing Disney. I think they're mostly crew guys. John Adams, new Godzilla should be coming out at the end of March. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see it. Everybody tells me it's amazing. Like, not just good, it's like incredible, mind-blowing. I can't wait. It looks cool. Mark Ruffalo said the MCU's Disney Plus output killed its mystique, unsure if course corrections can restore franchise to what it was. It can't. It absolutely cannot, I'd say. Ardent, Mark Ruffalo reinforcing why celebrities shouldn't offer commentary and dinosaurs are just kaiju for Americans. Yes. Yeah, kinda. But yeah, Ruffalo should probably shut up about this. Like, what's the point of him saying this now? You're pissing off the people that you propped up through most of your career. I don't think they want to hear you say this. But that's the problem with celebrities now. These podcasts are killing them. You'll notice Chris Pratt doesn't do them. And people like him. Like, if I was a celebrity, I would not go on many podcasts. I'd have to go on a handful, but I would stay off of most of them, and I'd be very careful what I said. Because you're managing an image. You're not just a person. You're managing an image. Like, I don't have an image to manage. Chris Pratt does. Mark Ruffalo did. But, Ardent, best dinosaur movie from the 80s was Baby. I vaguely remember that movie. Let's see. Over Deadline. SAG Awards. When was that? Was that this earlier this week? I guess it was. So I got the SAG Awards, the Spirit Awards, everything awards. Spirit Awards ceremony disrupted by sole pro-Palestinian protester with a loudspeaker. You guys wanted this. Oh, why don't you let them speak, you hypocrites? These are your people, the commies. Ardent, Ruffalo's known for dropping spoilers. He should not. But some of these people, you can't tell them anything. A lot of Spirit Awards news here. Let's see. Somebody else died this week. Oh, yeah. One of the guys from the original Office died. His name was Keith in the show. He was about the same age, about 49, 50, something like that. Didn't really list a cause of death, I don't think. Although I think, it might have been heart attack. Lily Gladstone calls for compassion in emotional speech after historic SAG Awards win. Oh, that's the historic win. Okay. But see, I think they're teeing her up so she'll win the Oscar. But we'll see. Maybe that's enough for her because she's not well known enough to even get best actress, I would say. But we'll see. We'll see who jumps. I mean, maybe they'll let her jump the line. Just a virtue signal. Let's see. This was nice news. DC announced that the new collected line, DC Finest, is going to compete with the Marvel reprints. So if you want to get the old stuff, good stuff, and you don't want to, and you want it in book form, there's that. Let's see. If you want to see a safe version of Peter Pan, Peter Pan production removes the problematic depictions of Native Americans, everybody, because we all know how dirty and filthy Peter Pan is. Oh my God, that thing. It's disgusting. What else? I think that's about it on Bleeding Fool. Over at The Wrap, Ardent, sorry, Lily. We're all out of compassion for Hollywood. You destroyed our childhoods. Now you can all burn. Let's see. Anything going on at the Wrap? John Adams, was the Boys comic any good? Oh yeah, it's really good. Only saw the first few TV episodes. The Boys comic is great. I mean, it's deconstruction. It's deconstructed superheroes, is what it is. It's like all the superheroes, they're horrible people. They all like are corrupted by their power, and it's like it's one degenerate after another. So it's supposed to kind of be a metaphor for like the elites and people in power. It's not a bad comic at all. I think it was great at the time. Like, but you know, it's been done before, and that was sort of the pinnacle of that. Like the Boys literally did everything you could possibly think of. The most horrible, degenerate things that superheroes could do, they did it in the Boys. And so, if you like that, I mean, after a while, it got tiresome for me. So, my friend, who's an actor, knew Derek Robinson, and he was the model for The Butcher. So, he drew him like my friend, like exactly. He couldn't get the role over Carl Urban, unfortunately. I don't think he knew about it to audition for it even, because it sort of came out of nowhere. But like, you know, it's Carl Urban. It was built around him. Here's an unaired Shane Gillis SNL Liberty Mutual parody takes on police shooting unarmed people. I mean, I guess they're trying to be edgy by releasing the video they didn't put on air, but it would have been edgier if you'd released it on the show. Did anyone see the footage of the Acorn incident, by the way? So, sort of on topic. So there was a cop, I forget where, but he was on a call, and he's in an SUV, and an acorn fell out of a tree and hit the top of the SUV, and he thought somebody was shooting at him. The noise set him off. So he dove, pulled out his gun, and like unloaded the whole clip into the car. And I don't think there was anybody in it. But it was nuts. He got set off. And then I think he reloaded. I don't think he fired anymore, but he thought he was shot, or shot at least. Ardent, oh my God, that Acorn cop was something else. So many good memes. It's nuts. Talk about a guy who should not have had a badge and a gun. John Adams, shots fired, shits fired, barrel rolls. Ardent, there was a guy in the car. There was? Is he dead? I mean, imagine being that guy. You're just sitting in the car. Oh man, I'm going to jail. And then suddenly, blam, blam, blam. John Adams, there was someone they arrested in the cop car, handcuffed. Oh my God. Ardent, that's nuts. Really? Yeah, I didn't know that either. I hope he wasn't hurt. Jeez. Oh man, I'm going to jail. Well, it won't be too bad. I'll call my lawyer. And then like, blam, blam, blam. John Adams, oops, autocorrect. I apologize. No worries. Ardent. But, tish. No, the guy's fine. Oh, okay. Okay. That's about it for the wrap. And finally, over at Cosmic Book News. Both cops missed every shot. Oh, yeah, I guess the other cop started firing too because he heard the other cop firing. Jeez. It's a good thing. Those guys should be stormtroopers. They missed so many shots. Superman Legacy costume symbol hinted at. Filming starts soon. I am so sick of the Superman movie, and they haven't even started shooting yet. James Gunn should really just make the damn movie, in my view. Make the freaking movie. They're using the old Fleischer cartoon Superman logo. Okay, just make it. It's Superman. It's not rocket science. Just make the damn movie. Ardent, 2 cops, mag dump an occupied SUV and miss. That's amazing. They cast Odysee. They announced they cast Odysee. He's the guy. He was played by Ned Beatty in the scene where Gene Hackman is Lex Luthor, and he goes, Otisville? That scene, which is hilarious. And the guy they cast, I mean, they race swapped him, but like Otis isn't a canon character anyway. And the goofy looking guy they cast looks goofy. So, Ardent, God's please, tell me they aren't going to ruin Kingdom Come. I don't know. Maybe. Ardent, oh man, Otis? Yeah, but look at the guy they cast. The guy on the left is the guy they cast. Look at his teeth. I mean, he looks like Otis. He looks like an Otis. I could see him in the role. He's got a funny look. Otisville? Oh, it's just a little town on the coast, Mr. Luthor. I love that scene. But I don't know why he's putting Otis back in. I mean, I guess it's an homage to the Richard Donner films, but he's not in a comic, but it's going to be interesting if, you know, if they do scenes like that, if they do more of a Gene Hackman Lex Luthor. Ardent, yeah, he'll work. That's what I said. I was like, what? He's race swap? Oh, okay. No, he'll work great. So, I guess he's going for a whole Richard Donner thing, but he's just talking way too much about the movie. I am sick of hearing about the new Superman movie. It's like, dude, just make the movie. Just shut up about it. Every time somebody talks about it on social media, James Gunn is there. Hey, wait a minute. Let me correct you on a few points. Like, dude, don't you have things to do? Like, I'm sure someone somewhere is talking about the Pineys. I don't have time to correct them on all their mistakes about it. And I don't have nearly as many fans as you, but, you know, sometimes you just got to let social media be social media. Just go do your thing, man. Speaking of which, I got to wrap it here. I got to finish my taxes. I got a screenplay to write still. I got invited to a wedding, which I can't go to, and I have to RSVP that. Many things to do today. So what have we learned? We have learned, once again, there are too many award shows. Too many. We have learned Otis will be back. We have learned Vice is dead. I almost said Vox is dead. They're on their way. And of course, we've learned that the box office still ain't too great, even for February. So that's about it in the world of movies. Or anime's doing better. I'll say that. Slightly better. So any final thoughts, concerns? I will be at Tyndall Road Brewing in Bordentown, New Jersey on Wednesday. I think, I want to say 7. Forget what time. Yeah, 7. So that's going to be fun. A lot of people are RSVPing on that one too. So that should be a good turnout. Good turnout. I got to order some more books. Holly M says night. Good night, Holly. All right. That's it. Ardent. Taxes are armed robbery. Certainly are. Especially when you're self-employed in the United States. You get zinged now. Ardent, 2 votes from here for you to watch The Pope's Exorcist. I think I may. You're the first people, though, that told me it was good. So, the rest of the buzz was not great, But I did like the trailer, and I thought, oh, it looks like they Ardent later. It looked, the trailer looked good. It looks like they put a little money in the effects, so I kind of thought, oh, maybe this will be good. And it's based on a real guy and all that stuff. I mean, I assume it's not a 3.5 hour plus epic. So, I mean, if it's only like 90 minutes, 2 hours, I'm down. And it should be on streaming soonish. So, I definitely want to see, though, Oppenheimer. Although, I may have to spend a week or two, watching it a few minutes at a time. John Adams, oh, I got shadow banned. Oh no, what happened? Did you say something spicy? I can see you in the chat. I hope you didn't get shadow. I mean, I can see you. So, can I save your thing? Probably not. No, I have it on. Yeah, no, it's fine. Perhaps you can reword it in another way, John Adams. I recommended an AI art channel. Oh, I don't know why it would censor that. It may be censoring the website domains. So if you just say the name without any .com or anything, I could just Google it or whatever. Ardent, it's reasonable length, good dialogue, well acted, and actually tells a manly story. Shad AI. Okay, I'll check that out. And all right, cool. Yeah, I need to do another strip, and yeah, it's another thing I need to do. Ardent, it may only be the link that gets yeeted. Alrighty then. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.